All righty, hello, welcome everybody back to first time to the Spincast Cycling Show. Brian Kellison, Casey Shum, Brian White, Lisa Vries.
Hello.
From across the daylight savings. Did Canada have daylight savings?
We did. It's horrible.
Okay.
Canada actually voted, or BC voted like 97% to stay sprung forward. And this was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But our politicians keep saying that they want to align with Washington, Oregon, California. But now...
That's a good alignment, by the way.
Well, you know, because we do trade
Pacific
with
time zone. That's the alignment.
Exactly. Yeah. So they want the entire Pacific time zone to be, either on it or off of it. But now with everything that's going on, our premier is kind of like, oh, well, why wait?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, U.S. has been talking about it for like 10 years, the same thing, right? I'm like, just quit changing it.
I'm cool with whatever. It's just it's either or. That's for me. Like, I didn't even know. This is the first time I didn't even remember that it was. And because I got up to do, we're going to get the show started here, to do the Rouvy race, the Rouvy big race. But I because everything changes on its own now. Like my phone changes, my watch changes. The only thing that doesn't change in our house is the microwave and the oven. And so everything else was on time. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And then I'm starting to feel, I'm like, man, it feels like I lost an hour. If that's what it felt like, I didn't even know. And then I'm like, cause I got up into the Rouvy race, which we'll get into, but I didn't go right into breakfast, which I usually do. And I was like eating oatmeal after that. Cause the Rouvy race, we did the second wave. Lee and I did the second wave. It was 9 a.m. Pacific. I was eating my oatmeal because it was after. I was like, man, it's like 10. It's like lunch. Like, what's going on? Look at the clock.
I didn't sleep well because I know my phone automatically switches over, and I had my alarm set for half an hour before the race start. But I woke up probably every 35, 40 minutes going, what time is it? And doing the math in my head. Is it the right time? Because I didn't want to miss the race.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I don't want to get up and do the race, but my cat kind of wakes me up at 6. That's kind of his clock. And so he woke me up at 6 and I feed him and I'm like, oh, I'll just kind of noodle around. And so I hadn't watched a lot of cycling. As soon as, I don't know if you guys care about pro cycling, but after GCN sort of folded and it was hard to watch professional cycling on like one platform, I didn't watch a lot of pro cycling like the last 2 years, and so I wasn't really interested. But then I watched Paris-Nice, as you say it in French, but Paris-Nice, or Paris-Nice, Brian White would probably say. So I got a little inspired. I'm like, oh, okay, the pros are doing it. Okay, it's kind of, it's a race. I know what's going on. I'm gonna do the big Rouvy ride, or the big Rouvy race. Right? Is that what it was? The big race by Rouvy?
Yeah, it was called the big race.
The big race, yeah. So
actually,
there was two
the big races.
Yeah, there was two that filled to 3,000. So there was a 3,000 limit for them, which is I'm learning a lot every time I do Rouvy. 3,000 was the limit. At least they put the limit on 3,000. I don't know if there is a limit on other platforms.
The Wout ride had 6,000, so
yeah, the Wout van Aert ride had 6,000. So they maybe could only do the time for him, and so they're like, hey, we'll do a 3,000 and split it up. Maybe they learned a lot about the bandwidth of that. But when I got into the pin, it's like 5 minutes before. Like the cool thing about Rouvy, this is the stuff I'm starting to really like about Rouvy. One, I rode with my buddy yesterday, and it's really easy to somebody joins the ride. If you're friends, you just join the ride, and then you go find them in your friends list, and you click on the ride that they're in, and you just join. It's like, you don't have to set up an event.
That's what I did after the ride.
Yeah, you did that with me. Lee did that with me after the cool down. But then when you joined the event, okay, so it was the big event with, correct me if I'm wrong, there was like 3 prizes that you entered in. So you don't win, if you win the race, you don't get the prize. It's you are participating in the thing and then you're part of the promotional giveaway, which is a 12-month subscription.
12 months. 6 months.
12 months, 6 months. And then I think there's like was there digital?
It was like
giveaway?
Digital in-game Rouvy kits?
like right up Brian's alley is the kit, like, hey, I get a free kit or something, right? But those are that's money, right? That's like, it's kind of like the My Whoosh with the
Sunday Race Club.
No, not Sunday Race Club. That's real money. I'm talking about you rode. I did the whatever the My Whoosh. Yeah, you get the in-game currency to then use it in the game, which is a good thing. Which is maybe what Zwift is trying to do with this AeroSock thing, which we'll get into that as well. But the Rouvy cool thing was you entered the event, and there's a little warm-up clock where it'll count you up how long you've been doing a warm-up, right?
And it counts as a separate activity.
Counts as a separate activity.
Zwift.
Yeah,
Come on,
cool.
Zwift.
Oh, yeah. It's very cool, and it has 2 clocks. It has your countdown of the event, and then it has your count up of the warm-up, which is very cool. So you also get to see like the people that are coming in, and then the one, I think this is like the low-hanging fruit for Rouvy, is they got so much stuff going for it. The thing is getting the video smoother, if they can do that, the avatars better, improving on that. But like the ride experience and the physics are awesome.
Dude,
right?
Did you guys have that phasing of riders? Like I did really bad though? Like
it
wasn't really bad.
I didn't consider it bad. Now, what do you consider bad, Casey?
Well, I've had 3 or 4 really good races, right? Where every once in a while, like one rider would kind of phase out, phase in. But this last race I did, I was in a pack of 5, and I rarely saw more than one guy. And they were all in front of me on the riders nearby.
No, we wouldn't have that much phasing. We would have phasing when groups, because there were so many people in the event. Yeah. We had I would split up. Like I went from like 200. Like I started at like 230, 250, and I got up to like the 100, 150s, 130s, and then I started to you start to fall in the groups that you're going to stay with. I went too hard and got in the red and was trying to, because I'm recovering from being sick, but people didn't phase out when I was around them.
Okay.
It was like 5 strong, 4 strong. We would get like groups of 4, and then I would like bridge it. Like we'd come to like a little part where people slow down on the little inclines, and then people would start showing up again. And then the only time I ever had phases, and I don't know if Lee had this, is like, because there's cars or there's stoplights, and they don't want to have like the car video like run into an avatar, so they phase the person out and phase back in.
That's
but
exactly what I was just going to say, because I noticed I enjoy if you're riding solo, because the real life cars have to go around the video car.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're being passed by a car. In a giant group where there's riders up ahead, the car now passes you, but then plows through everybody else. So that's a little weird. But yeah, there was a few times where they do phase the rider out so the car doesn't run them over, and then they phase back in. Okay. So it doesn't look like everyone's getting plowed over. But in general, no one was phased. Like if the people that I was with them.
Yeah.
There was no phasing in or out.
Like I said, and it's been like 1 out of 5 rides that I've had that. And Bjorn was in that same race with me, and he wasn't having it to the extreme that I did. Okay. I typically download my maps, and I didn't download my video this time, and we thought maybe that was it. So I'm going to play with it a little more, because I joined another event right after that and just rode 2 or 3 minutes, and the guys didn't phase in and out like that on it. So I think it was just a fluke, and
I'm sure
they're still polishing, right? This is still pretty new. This whole
is new,
setup,
and they've hinted at the new HUD, and
maybe amazing. This week, right?
Maybe it is this week.
So.
Yeah.
The draft is so.
The draft is the one thing that is weird is the draft is so good, and like Lee and I agree. I know Casey, you've done it too. Bjorn is a friend of the show. Also, he likes the draft as well. It's the visuals that don't sort of correlate. Like I know it feels good, but I'm trying to get the avatars to kind of like you wish you would be a little bit smoother, but there's like the video and other things. But the positives from it, from doing this big event, and I know Lee and I talked about this like right after the stream, was I was totally immersed in where I was in the ride, which is different than like the third person view or the far away view where you can see up the road and you see just like a map. Like when I remember doing like the COVID years of like the Tour de France when they released France, and it was like 30,000 people doing it, or however many people it was, and it was just a road full of people, and you can see up the road. You were not immersed into it. Now I've raced outdoors, and I know what it's, or do group rides, right? And you can only see so far up ahead because you can't see through people. and there's no camera. That's what it felt like. It felt more realistic to me.
100%.
Yeah. And so that was a positive. The other positive was I love the little profile in the top left where you could see like the little, because the profile across the screen is going to be improved. They've already talked about this. It is so misleading in that, like, wow, this is kind of a steeper gradient that we're going to go up, and it's like just a hint of orange. And then the final climb was like 3-kilometer climb.
The thing that I appreciate though is, and none of these virtual worlds, in my opinion, have been able to really nail this, is I was on a fairly flat course in my last race, but it had a lot of just little bumps, right? Just little 15-second digs up 2 or 3%. I could see those coming plain as day, right? Like I didn't have to watch the profile to know. Yeah, in Rouvy.
Yeah. The video.
I didn't have to watch the profile to know to ramp up for a few seconds, right? To hold that momentum. And Bjorn and I were doing the same thing, and like the guys that were with us still hadn't quite figured that out. But I'm like, it is so easy to see just a little bump in the road. You know, it's just a 10-foot vertical difference, you know, a couple meters, and you can see it coming.
I think that's the immersion. Like you don't need to look at the profiles. You can see, like, there's one part, and that course was amazing. That course was fantastic today.
It was a good course.
There was one part, you're coming down into a valley, and you could see the road going up to the right. And then you could look at the profile and be like, that's the hill. And there's a hill going off to the right. And you knew, as I'm going into the valley, I got downhill, flat, uphill. But you can tell, like you say, a 10-foot little hill. You're like, you can see it coming, going, there's going to be a hill. Gear up, boom.
On those little gravel sections that we did, there was a couple little parts where it would go up a little bit and then down, and that's where a lot of people slow down, and I would gain places and stuff.
Well, and on the flats,
you can see that
you
up
can
the road.
actually feel like I'm on the flats. Someone comes off to my right, pulls in front. All of a sudden, the resistance on the trainer eases up. And forces me to soft pedal a little bit, and it's subtle, and you're like, oh, I'm drafting.
I do feel like they're adjusting resistance for the draft feel, where like Zwift doesn't, right? Zwift, you're going up a 3% climb, whether you have a draft or not, you get the same resistance. Where I do feel like I feel it in my feet, but I think some of it's messing with your brain too, though, because I noticed that in my race the other day. We went from like a fairly rough, choppy road to a brand new blacktop, perfect glass smooth road, and I could swear I felt it in my trainer, and it was the visuals messing with my brain because it looked so real.
Maybe we should ask them if they do change resistance based on their video, like their interpretation. It wouldn't be, because I think there was like 2 gravel sections on this ride today, but I know you were racing on that Australia course because I watched you and Bjorn racing. And the thing I noticed was there's a lot of people that like overcompensate. And they're not like, we have a lot of, even though our number is very low in the, like you see like people that like 80 and like 40 with their rub because they've been in Rouvy for a while. So it's kind of nice to have a bit, you know, it's like we're advanced riders, but our number is low. So it's kind of this sort of like low hanging fruit for us to continue to ride to maybe increase that number. But our race knowledge is, or just like gaming craft knowledge of, hey, I can recover here. I was polling to bridge to a group in the ride today. And I was like, we're not going to bridge this unless they slow down in the front. And then I went to the front and I moved to the front. And then you at the top of Rouvy, it shows you if your draft is on. It'll tell you like good, perfect, and then if you're in the front, it goes away. The one thing that I was using was just race know-how to like go, hey, I'm going to the front. I got to pull for 30 seconds or whatever, and then rotate. I think people will start to get better at that when the visuals sort of like help you with that, because sometimes you're splitting off, and your video is different than where your sort of like third person is. I also wanted to add the braking. There was braking in that course, but it's hard to see, and I'm not paying attention to that, and I wish it was indicated somewhere else.
It's up in the top left corner, and it's very small, and it actually counts down. It says braking in 5, 4, and then it says braking 4, and it's red.
It's a weird decision.
It needs to be like in your face. Because actually I was attacking. As soon as the braking turned off, I would do a little sprint, and it would, go. But the immersion, like you were talking about before, I just want to touch base because when I solo ride, I just want the scenery. I want to just look. I don't want other riders bothering me because I find the camera angle is too low. But as you mentioned, in a race, it felt like I was in a real race. Like there was a guy, I'm on the drops, and there's a guy right here, and he's right here. And then there's another guy right here. And you can see enough of the scenery going by. And because it's realistic video, I felt like I was in a real life road race.
Yeah, you see, it drew my focus completely to that. I wasn't like, I was thinking like, because my number in the rider list, I was like, I'm never going to make the front group. But I was like, hey, if I can just bridge to another group and bridge to another group, get some better draft, recover.
So, I watched Bjorn, I think it was, do a race last week in Rouvy, and I want to go find the world. I want to find a race in it. I think it was a Morocco thing, and it was like, I swear to you, it wasn't, but it reminded me of like, it's a race on the world's deadliest road. Like it was like a lane and a half wide dirt with these, the tandem axle like dump trucks just kept passing the camera car, blind corners, you couldn't see, and like it was like you were gonna die at any moment, and they were racing one another, right? And like the camera car would come up behind a semi, the camera car would pass a semi when there was curves in the road and hills, and you couldn't see. I was like, this is like crazy. Like you feel like you're gonna get run over. Like it was tense. Yeah, watching it with the cars around it.
There was a left turn. Rouvy is the only indoor app that pumps me up to ride outdoors. Like every time I ride Rouvy, I look outside and it's pouring rain in where I live, and I'm like, damn. And Rouvy should almost partner with some travel agents, because there's like places I've ridden where I'm like, I want to go there. The ride we did today, I would love to take my gravel bike and go ride that course.
I wasn't expecting the gravel. Did you, Lee? How did you feel when we did the left turn around the garbage truck? There's like a garbage truck. There's like a left turn, and there's like they go wide, and I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna hit this garbage truck, and they sort of phase people out.
Well, I think today's course was filmed on a bike, because there was a few tight, narrow spots that the camera went through.
Oh, maybe so, yeah.
And sometimes if it's filmed on a car, the car wouldn't have fit past that garbage truck. They would have had to have phased the truck out.
Yeah.
But we snuck through, and it was kind of like sketchy. But it's like, that's the thing is with the realism of the video, because I could see that happening in real life, and I'm like, oh, there's a garbage truck. Is it going to pull out?
Yeah.
Yeah, between the physics and the video together, it is far closer to a IRL experience riding in a group ride than anything I've done on any of these platforms. Like hitting those little 3-meter bumps in the road and things like that, where everybody kind of spins up and you can see them coming, they push like that. It felt like the Tuesday night racer ride, like when I'd get in a 5 or 6 man group in the front of a race.
And the start, it was a normal, almost neutral start.
Yeah.
We rolled. It counted down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we rolled out. I actually got a little excited because you're so used to Zwift starts. I gave her. I passed pretty much like 90% of the field, and I'm like, what's going on? And everyone just sort of rolls, and then you find your group that you're riding with.
Even though it was a race, it wasn't like the Wout van Aert sort of Fondo.
Oh, it was
group. It was a race because
smart trainers only.
Smart trainers
official
only.
Race.
Yeah. And one of you posted I think it was Lee, you posted our results. And it actually shows our trainer, which is cool. It shows what trainer you're using. Is that that's on the website?
So I went to the R race, and you can actually click on a button that says friends that were also in this event.
Oh.
And
that's cool.
It basically took me and you, because at the time we're the only ones. Yeah, and then it showed our trainer. It said, Wahoo Fitness for you. Mine said Wahoo 5 BAB, which is my...
It's my kicker move, maybe.
On the last...
FTMS, maybe?
BAB is my kicker V5, but that's my Bluetooth number. Like when I go and pair it, it says 5 BAB.
Okay.
The last race I was in after Lee posted that, I went back, and if you keep drilling into the results, right? Like you get to the event, and then you like view more results or view more details, and I could see every single person in my event, what they were on. It was like, it's not limited to friends either. So I was the last race I finished with Bjorn, me and Bjorn were on kickers, and the other 3 guys were all on Neo bikes. So we all had a high quality high quality equipment. Bjorn was on a kicker bike, I think. I was the only one on a smart trainer. Yeah. Everybody else was on a full blown like Neo bike or kicker bike.
Bjorn, German Diesel on Twitch, twitch.tv/German Diesel if you want to watch some of his stuff. But I liked it. I had a good time, even though I'm fatigued and don't feel great, but it was fun.
The other big win for Rouvy, I'm just going to say it. It is the only Zwift competitor, maybe Bike Terra too, but that is good about being able to actually find events ahead of time that have people in them.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like it's not just guessing, right? Mm-hmm. You go to MyWoosh, you gotta drill 5 layers in on each event to see if anybody signed up for it. At Training Peaks, you can't figure it out. You got to log into the game to figure out if anybody signed up for things. Rouvy's website's great. I can go look 4 hours from now. There's already 8 people signed up, right? And it's just scrolling through the pages. They do an excellent job at it.
Their website UI matches the in-game UI. It's exactly the same, and you get used to using both. It's by far the easiest one to just be like challenges, events. Yeah. You can look them all up, join events, join challenges.
I'm a big fan of companion apps, but I actually like the Rouvy companion app because it's
like the game.
It's like the game. Yeah. They're like, what is it? Not synchronized.
Well, Rouvy had a huge the UI overhaul was earlier 2024, and I think that really brought them to the next level with that UI change. And I'm really looking forward to the HUD, the HUD change, because the little leak that they gave us looks freaking fantastic.
So
it does.
Hey, Casey, going to what you were talking about, Training Peaks, they do have the website, and it's actually improved a good bit. It's now called TP Virtual Hub, and it does show who's in it.
Yeah, I went there today, and I had good and bad results with that. I think they're working on it. I could see like 3 events coming up that had people registered in it, but I think somehow it's showing bots in there too. Yeah, because like one event size. I clicked on it and it had like 4 people in there where it showed like fields. It has like field limit, but then it actually has like in event kind of like joined. And I would click on one that had a 6 and they'd say, be the first to join this event. And I'm like, well, they said you had 6. Like, so I think maybe there's still some bot confusion with it. But it's way better than it was. And I did go there and look, and I will go there and look, and I will go to Rouvy and look, and I will go to Bike Terra and look before I will log into the Big Z because they're annoying me at the moment.
Yeah.
No, really?
Why are they annoying you? Yeah. Let's get into that.
Let's get into it.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Let me finish. This is the big Rouvy Love Fest. I do want to finish on one thing. When I started, I want to know from you, Lee, as well. But when I started today, the graphics were very low res because of, I think, a condensed amount of people in one area of the video. Or I'm talking about my avatar and the video. It seemed like it was compressed. Like it wasn't the 2K video, and I had a lot of aliasing on my characters or the avatars, the AR part. Did you experience that at all?
No, I don't think so. I'll have to go back and look on my stream, but I didn't notice. I mean, it was chaos with the amount of avatars
there was a lot
at
at
the start.
Yeah.
So there was a lot, and everyone was sort of jockeying around, and there was people phasing in and out because I don't think they could fit 400 plus people on that tiny little
I can only
section
imagine
of
the
road.
3,000. But
so I think there was some phasing, but as far as video quality, I don't think it was.
Did you download before? Because I downloaded it yesterday.
I've never downloaded, and I've only ever had buffering issues maybe twice.
Okay.
But I think on an event like that for the future, I would probably download because it takes some of the load off of Rouvy's server if you're basically hosting the video yourself.
What did your guys' starting number end up being?
I think it was like 280.
Yeah, no, it was almost 400.
My starting number? Oh, I'd have to look at my video. I think I was like 230.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
I'm
like
not
just
sure.
a total in the event. Yeah, like
total in the
Almost
event.
400.
Yeah, it was almost 400.
So there was
that's
about
a cool.
half.
It shows
it was
it.
the
It shows it
second
in the
event,
little. Yeah, it shows it in the thing.
A lot
I
of
was
people
just
in
curious.
Rouvy, there was only like 150 signed up with 5 minutes to go, and it goes up super fast. But see, the thing is, I don't mind joining early because you get to get credit for the warm
Yeah,
up.
you get a warm up ride.
Right.
Why
I
not
guess-
start the pin?
Yeah, if I get the fit file for the warm up, I don't need to move in the warm up. I just would like the credit for it. Right.
There is one. The Love Fest. I mean, not every. We'll criticize things that we criticize. You can't delete a ride. Like at least that I know of. I do like little 5 minutes, and I'm just like, I don't want to be on this bike anymore. And I'm like, I go and I go and I want to. I'm like, it says continue, and I'm like,
oh, Zwift has that little like delete button. Like
I want to be able to delete. So
yeah.
delete, and Biketerra has the save and quit, or save without, or don't save with quitting. So everyone kind of has that where you can. I mean, Training Peaks didn't have that for a long time, where it was like, you want to record everything. I'm like, nah, I don't want to record. 2 minutes of me
very
like
early
getting frustrated.
on when you hit end ride. I think there is a don't bother saving this ride, but the save the ride button is 100 times bigger than don't save the ride button that's down here. So you just are like, oh, I'm next, continue.
Yeah. How many gold coins did you get?
3669, I think, or 3,000 something.
You got I got 3,000. So that's a cool thing is it's that in-game currency sort of stuff. Now the in-game currency, you got to work for it because it's like 100,000 gold coins for
Zwift,
a bike.
Yeah. The Zwift fail on the drops because Zwift,
totally fail.
You
on
get
the
way
drops.
too many drops. Basically, the best wheels in the game, or the best all-around wheels, are 100,000 coins, and people on Facebook are like, "That's a full year's worth of riding."
Yeah, that's like I think I just crested 8,000 coins.
That's what we want.
No, that's exactly what we want.
Yeah,
that's why
100%.
And they have XP and the gold coins, which is the XP and drops, right?
It's kind of like My Whoosh, because My Whoosh has a lot of like challenges where you get to 40 hours and you get bonus. That's why Rouvy has a lot of challenges where it's like if you do the weekly challenge, you get bonus XP and bonus coins. If you do events, you get bonus XP and bonus coins.
Yeah.
So you try to do as many challenges to sort of maximize how many coins. But even doing that, it's still like 9-10 months to get something good.
Yeah. All right, I got it. We're done with Rouvy. I think Rouvy was good. I like it. I know Casey likes it. I like it. Brian is, whatever.
We're trying to get Brian a double dip.
He triple dip at least.
Triple
I do
dip.
want to touch on Biketerra because I started getting back on the bike and I did Biketerra and I threw a little GPX file in. This is the cool stuff that's cool about Biketerra. Shout out to Matt and Anselo, the guys that do it. They have added a bunch of new stuff. They've been working on their physics. They have braking now, which is auto braking in certain areas. And they have a little smoothing tool. So for people that do buy I think it's like $5, $6 a month now, or a $60 for a year.
$5.99, I think.
Yeah, something like that. They have a year thing now. I got in early, so they don't change the price on the early adopters. But I brought in a GPX file, which was an old it's a crit, right, in the Los Gatos area here in California. And they have the smoothing tool in the game. Now, I'm not good at it. Maybe they need a tutorial how to do it. But I remember that was always an issue with RGT where you'd bring in like a raw GPX file and it'd be like, you'd go like to the sky and then down and then like you'd cross over like other roads and everything and you'd go into like a loop. They have the tools built in. This is all in the web browser. Like you don't have to go to another website. And I think there needs to be like a little tutorial like, hey, if you hit smooth, because the GPX file had has a tight gradient, and Anselo went back in and he's like, hey, I fixed your GPX file because it's like 18%. This is like Greg LeMond won this race back in the 80s as a junior. It's a very famous North American race. And there's like a road that's got like an 18% little spike that you go up and then go around and do that. And I wanted to just see what that was like, bringing it in a GPX file. I haven't done one in a while. So Biketerra is still also, like Casey says, you can find the routes, you can find the things, you can find people riding. We know Felty, fan of the show. Felty rides a lot in Biketerra. John Back, Danish Watts now. The Biketerra community is small and it's growing, and it's still a lot of fun. And the physics are good. I just haven't had it. I didn't bring in a course, or I haven't done a course where I can really test the braking, the auto braking around the corners.
I
But
did.
Felty
did the
mention.
other
Oh, you
day.
did? Okay, how is it?
Yeah.
Then how is it?
It's really good. The physics, like I had a group of 10 bots with me. In the route that I did, I had 3 direct comparisons. Now they were done. They were like January, February, so it was a little icy out. It was cold. Average temperature was 32 degrees. So I might not have been going full speed, or you got all the clothes.
Oh, your
on.
original GPX file.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did 16.6 or so miles an hour solo, and then 17 on the other one. And then with the bots, the draft and everything, I did it was just at 19, which is, if you're riding with some buddies, that's not that far off. And I did 2 laps around it. It was very good. And when I came through the shit city streets and did turns, it slowed down. It didn't matter the watts I did. It slowed down. I went around the turn and kept on going. And it wasn't like a launch pad. It slowly ramped up. Even though my watts didn't change, but it slowly ramped up. So yeah, it's they did it phenomenal. And I just saw on the Discord a few hours ago that they added legit trees, the textures in it. It looked phenomenal. And I've added probably 6 or 7. They're now public. They got approved. Some of the other ones, because they overlap, they haven't got approved. But I've actually enjoyed just sitting and uploading routes, and I've only done 6 rides or so. You know what I mean?
So,
like you said, that editor is phenomenal.
if anybody wants to do some real Bike Terror racing, I've hit it twice now. Tuesdays at lunchtime for me.
They have
They're
a
doing
good race series going on.
the Bike Terror Classics.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish the first one, but I rode a good portion of it. The second one I finished, and it was really good. I will say that there was a problem with the braking in the race, but Matt was there. We were talking about it in chat. A couple riders had it. There was a couple points going downhill basically that I braked and the guy that I was following didn't. So he launched. He got 50 meters on me around a corner, and I'd have to chase back, and I did that a couple times. But you know what? I pinged Matt in Discord after the race, sent him my VOD, and he pinged me back within a couple of hours, and it's like, okay, we found the bug, know what's going on. We got it resolved. I was like, okay, and I'm okay with that, right? We recognized the problem. He listened to us. He went and looked at it. He dug into it. But in the one that I did, it was brutal because it was 3 5 to 8, 10-minute climbs and then descending. So it blew apart right off the bat. But then there was one guy climbing at about a pace that I could hold. We were climbing in those high 3s, close to 4. We'd climb the hill and then we'd descend together. So then we kind of had fun. The descending is the fun part, right? And Rouvy's the same way. It's when you have these braking on the descents and you have this cool scenery and stuff like that, both Rouvy and Bike Terror give you this different sensation. It is rewarding to descend on those.
Recovery too.
Yeah. Well, but I don't feel that reward in other platforms, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the auto braking in Bike Terror that was doing, because it was kind of switchbacks going down. So we kept getting that auto braking, and you'd have to kind of accelerate out of the corners, and we'd yo-yo back and forth. And I was trying to use the momentum to go, but I've enjoyed the racing that I've done there. The draft felt good.
Yeah, I have to turn off my constantly pedaling.
Yes.
I have to turn that off all the time. Yep. So, and I think Felty was saying this, and I don't know if you guys experienced it.
Wait, you mean?
Yeah, go ahead.
You mean I'm sorry. You're saying you're so used to Zwift of always spinning your wheels.
Yeah,
and
always
now in Bike
pushing.
Terror you can coast.
You can actually coast.
And Rouvy and in Bike Terror, I'm I can soft pedal on this downhill, maybe recover, get my heart rate down.
I feel like Rouvy has some magic that makes your trainer spin up, because the resistance goes 0. I ran out of gears on the Rouvy. I couldn't even pedal on a downhill, no gears. I'm spinning at 100.
Yeah. It's a lot. I do that a lot. I'm spinning out a lot on the downhill.
And so I'm well, I may as well just coast, because I can't even spin and make 40 watts. But I don't know how it goes that low resistance. Zwift always has a 1% grade in the trainer.
Yeah, and you're always wanting to sprint to get in the tuck position or something when I'm downhill too.
Zwift always is pushing back on you a little bit. And I experienced that too. The one of the Rouvy races, you got to get a pretty big downhill. I had a 10, 12% downhill with a group of guys, and I kind of ripped through the pack. and I hit the front of that pack at like a 12% downhill going 45 to 50 mile an hour. And like, it was like my trainer was broke, right? It's like those times where it's like somebody unplugged the kicker. There is no electronic resistance at all. You could go as hard as you could spin that flywheel. And right, I could work really hard and get 120 watts out of the thing. So it's like, you just coast.
Yeah.
What was so fantastic about that hill, though, at the bottom of that hill was a stop sign and a left turn that we rolled into at 50 mile an hour.
Yes.
And it turned you, and every single one of us hit that stop sign as soon as it slammed on the brakes. Just like in real life, we all jumped out of that corner because you were afraid of somebody getting away.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
All right. Do we want to get into Sunday Race Club?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we could do Sunday Race Club.
Sunday midday race club.
Dude, it is so amazing.
I saw your stream and I'm like, why is he racing SRC in the middle of the day?
So I screwed up. I checked when the Ramadan times were for Sunday Race Club, thinking maybe I could sneak into them, and I looked it up and I'm like, nah, it still overlaps with church time. I'm not going to mess with it, all that. But I didn't factor in that daylight savings time happened.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think I might be able to get to the start of it barely. What are you starting, like 1 o'clock your time?
Well, my race starts at 12:40 p.m. now, so it'd be 11:40 for you.
How long does this?
I can't make that. I need it to be like 12:15.
How long does this time change go for?
The rest of the month, March.
Rest of the month. Okay.
Yeah. So we have 3 more Sundays of it. So, I mean, the racing level, like the amount of talent, I'm not sure if it's just trickling down from the upper categories or just more people are doing it. I think the numbers overall are getting higher. I think today there was 293 total men that started. I'm not sure about the women. I'll talk about them in a second. They are now, we separated the courses.
Total or men, just your category?
No, total. In my category,
is it 1 through 6 now? How
1 through 6, yeah.
Okay, got it.
In my group, there was 40 to 50. I don't remember the exact number. But yeah, there was 293 at the start of the race, like in the signed up supposedly. So that's pretty awesome. The course is super challenging, and then it seems like there is talent. Whether it's the categories changing or maybe just like me, your fitness down a little bit, weight went up a little bit, but we are dropping categories. And so I was winning Cat 4 less than 3 months ago. And then now in Cat 5, like, you know, I'm chasing down 2 riders off the front right now. And it's a slugfest. Like, it is legit crazy, the difference just in the...
Is it just an all-out effort, or is it tactical? Chasing people down.
Yeah, it's kind of both. I'm chasing 2 people back because you can kind of see in my video behind me, those 2 were like with Cat 6 riders, purple, but the purple was overlaid over top of them, so like you couldn't see it. And then
they're getting the benefit of the draft in the game because it's raced together but scored separately. So they grabbed onto that and they're getting the advantage.
Yeah, and there was like 3 or 4 purple riders, the Cat 6 riders. So like that overtook the bubble. So you were just seeing, you know what I mean, the purple. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, there's a whatever color we are, turquoise guy. And then there's 2 of them. So yeah, that's the one thing that's kind of, it's tough. I understand, you know, it's been like that forever that everyone races together. But in that situation, it helps the Cat 6 guys and it helped mask them from us. But my race went pretty good. I finished 4th, super happy with that. But the talk of the town, our community had a 1st place in Holly, along with the KOM kit. Was it 4th place for Kathy? And 6th place for Randy, all in Cat 4. I had
Congratulations.
Yeah, Randy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I had Randy, Holly, and Brian all up on my other monitor here. And there was like trying to like peek out of the corner of my eye, see what was going on. It was kind of cool. I love seeing this
Brian
KOM kit on Holly. Yes, you Brian.
You don't need to watch my show. You don't need to watch it. Come on. I can barely take over the gears right now. You should watch them. They're way more entertaining.
Brian's still sick. I kept on watching his little avatar on the map, and I'm like, Brian's only like 5 minutes ahead of me. He should be like 15 minutes ahead of me.
There's some fatigue thing going on. I don't know, it's lingering fatigue of whatever sickness I have. But Sunday Race Club is good at this time frame. Do you like it? Are you getting spoiled at this time frame?
I talked to my wife today because
this is robot time.
Yeah, the 5:40 start time is good because it's not too far off when I wake up from work. I wake up half hour early. Getting up at 3:30, 3:45, that really sucked. But 4:45, 5 o'clock, that's not too bad. But waiting around to do this when I'm so used to already being done, that drove me nuts because it's like, I could go sweep the garage and clean up this. Well, it's like, well, no, I don't want to be tired. And then it's like, well, I'll start messing around with this. So that's kind of the flip side. I'm not used to that. Like, I'm used to being done in the morning.
Can't keep them happy.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of waiting around. I'd be like the worst rock star ever because I'd be like, all my concerts are 8 a.m. so I can go about my day.
Yeah. So, but there's some changes supposedly coming with the beta to the physics.
Okay.
I'm assuming we can talk about it because it's a open beta. There's no NDA. They don't want us to stream it. I asked Matt Smithson. He said no. So we can't stream the beta version, which is one reason why I haven't even opened it yet. But just reading through all the Zwift beta, not Zwift, my Whoosh beta chat, it seems like the physics are going to
they're discussing
change.
So you discuss it in a public channel on Facebook or whatever.
There is a public, not public, my Whoosh beta
invite only
Facebook.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They post a, hey, come be a beta tester. You just click on it and you're in.
Is this the place with the sweaty saddle that you shared with us?
No.
Oh no, that was Zwift.
Jesus. Oh my God, that's so inside. That's inside for us. You don't need people. Audience just disregard that. But
I should have brought the picture up, and I could have.
So bad.
So that seems like it's coming, and it should be the update 4.0. The big update should be coming here to next week or so. They said mid-March, and we're this week hopefully. I think Tuesday's our normal day they do it, so maybe this Tuesday. But I haven't seen anything or heard anything, so I don't know. But yeah, I do want to touch on this. We'll transition into Zwift and then the UK Championships. But so the racing on my Whoosh for me is Sunday Race Club. I know what it is. I know I'm going to get people. I've done a few other races trying my Whoosh, and yes, it's very difficult to find. The elimination races at European, I guess evening time, midday time for me, are populated. OTR events are populated. Outside of that, you have no idea what you're getting. It's like a box of chocolates, Old Forrest Gump. You don't know what you're getting. So we'll switch over to Zwift. Casey went in a little rant today. I've been frustrated with Zwift. Before the show started, I went through from now until it was like 7 a.m. There's only 5 events that I can enter, like 5 actual race events, not the big spin or a group ride or whatever. 5 races from, it would have been like 7:30 Eastern time till 7 a.m. Eastern time.
5 events a day?
No, 12 hours. The next 12 hours.
The next 12 hours. Okay. There's 5 races I can enter.
Because of your racing score.
Yes, and that's my frustration. They took away all these events. Yeah, I may have gotten a race and it had been 3 people, but I could have raced, did my workout, and you don't know what you're getting at this race score event. You know what I mean? Like you could have elite.
Is this a drinking time for the race score conversation? So I still have a question. I have a question. Yeah, sorry, as the idiot in the room for at least this. Most things, yeah, but at least this. The racing score is now popular. That's a question. Second, I knew it was like forcing people to race up, is what we're calling it, right? But it's now they have less events for you, so you can't even race.
Yeah, the root.
If you want to race,
right? The root of this is not a race score issue. It's Zwift starting pin and how they're categorizing the races. So the inherent race score is not bad. It's that because there were so few people in the A category in hourly races that they decided to make them like 5 a day or something, 7 a day to try to drive all those people to those races.
Okay.
But now, like Brian White, that's great for the people that have time to adjust their schedule to hit the big events, right? But I think Brian's a lot like me, and I'm having the same struggle, guys, because I'm above 650, so the hourly race is not open for me hourly. It's only every other hour, because the maximum score you can be in the hourly race is either 650 or 700, depending on the hour.
Okay, so of those every other hour,
yeah,
how populated are they now?
The hourly races, the like the advanced ones like Brian's talking about, they're fairly populated. I did one today. There's 50 people in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
50.
so
all right.
they're fairly populated. But the issue is, and I've had direct conversation with James Bailey, and I will say James Bailey is listening. He's in his reaction
to the show
me,
or to you?
To me. He's giving me. He's at least giving me honest feedback that he's hearing me, which is nice to have. Because my complaint is, when Zwift used to have 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 people online at a time, I could jump on and get in a decent race every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, my choice is to race advanced riders today. The top 20, not a single one of them averaged less than 4 watts per kilo. There were 5 watts plus averaged in the race that I joined today.
Okay.
And I'm like, this was my only option to race this hour.
Yeah,
my
I can understand the frustration. So the question is now, are there, you don't have any races you can do. Are there, that are racing score, whatever. Aren't they all racing score? That's my first question.
Yeah.
Secondly, are there the 3 Rs that are not the racing score? So you can just do a random race that still has like the category.
Right. So this is where this is where I fall into a unique category that I encountered like a week or two ago, though. So like the community races are hard to find now because they've wiped most of them off the calendar. There's a few that still float around. In the A category, and those are actually a little more populated right now because you can't be an A, you can't be 700 plus in the big events in other than those unique.
But you can be an A rider.
Ones.
You can have A fitness and A strength and race in an A, or race. If you're a C category and you're like, I want to race with A's, you can.
Right. The issue
with the racing score, it blocks you.
Right. It's category enforcement. So if you're above 700, you have to go find a race that allows you to race. And there are community races. So the issue I have is I'm between 650 and 700. So I wanted to ride at lunchtime like a week ago. At that hour, it didn't allow me in the big race, the hourly Zwift race. Mm-hmm. So I went and found a community race and I joined the B pin, which is where I belong. My B pin ended up having one other rider in it. The A pin had 20 riders in it. You know why? Because the A's didn't have anywhere else to ride. But most of the guys that I should be racing against were in the big race. Okay. But I was just over that threshold that I couldn't be in the big race. So, and we can go on about this forever.
No, we're not going to go on about it forever.
Zwift
I have a final question. Final question. Is this good for Zwift?
No, it's not.
Why are they doing it then?
And I will tell you the feedback I got today, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for sharing this because.
Then don't share it.
No, I mean, he didn't say this is secret. He said they are exploring some mass start ZRS longer events coming up. And James recognized, because I said, I understand that we are in a unique position, especially the 650 to 700 riders, but anybody over 650, it's a smaller group of people, the lower cats, and I know you're hearing a lot of this feedback. I just ask that you please understand this isn't just complaining. Like, I used to be able to find good races. I can't always adjust my schedule to the good races. Yeah. That, give us more options. And he understood. He's like, yep, I hear you. Understood. So
whatever, they're seeking out more.
Yeah.
They're going to find new ways to solve a problem that they created.
So let me go on to my other Zwift rants.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to sum that up. That it's bad. They're working on it, and hopefully they solve this thing, because it was like you guys said this all the time, that it was a work in progress, and they've learned a lot, and maybe they're adjusting to that. Okay, go ahead.
Right, and this isn't a race score issue. It's a starting pin issue. So my rants for the day, though, were the stupid things. Finish the race. I don't get a finishing order. Right. Just words on the center of the screen.
Wait a minute. This is Zwift. You finished a race and it didn't show you your place?
Right. Correct. You know what pops up? It pops up words and says, we're currently analyzing the photo finishes and your results will be posted soon. like come back later.
This is new.
Like, right. And I sat there for like 3 minutes on that screen and I never got results. I had to close that screen and act like I was exiting the ride to get back the event results to actually see where I placed. I'm like, what the hell? Like I got no results. Like I would rather do what it used to do, where it'd be like you'd cross the line, it'd pop up in second place, and 3 seconds later it'd move you to third. I bet, okay. Like within 3 or 4 seconds, it adjusted for the server side. And now it just gave me text on the screen. And while Peter was racing with me, and he got the same thing.
Do we have a screenshot? Has anyone posted a screenshot of this? No?
I can pull one out of my VOD and send it in Discord later. But yeah, so that was super aggravating.
So that's like a work in progress notification, like, hey, or no.
This is like they're so bogged down. This is they can't get results.
I don't know how that's even possible.
How is that possible?
This is a new feature, the photo finish, as they're calling it. And
but it wasn't a photo finish. I was 3 seconds ahead of the guy, and Peter was 3 seconds ahead of me. Like we weren't even close.
Yeah.
I think it's just the servers are bogged down.
It's fixing a problem that didn't need fixing, right? Like I understand that they have the issue that what you see on the screen isn't exactly what the server side is, but you will still see that at the finish line, even though they don't publish the results, right? You will still see yourself cross in front of somebody who you're not actually in front of.
This was a race, not an event.
This was a race. This was one of the big races. Okay. Yeah, Swift Games. So I'm like, okay, this is broken. And then the other really annoying is I was missing so many assets at different points on the course that I didn't even recognize the course. And like, I know Zwift. And I'm like, wait, where am I at? The trees are missing. Where in the hell are the trees? The trees were gone. And people were talking about this in chat too. I think the Zwift games, like the Elite race that they broadcast, a lot of people are having issues like this. So I don't know if this last Zwift release has a bunch of asset bugs in it or what.
I saw Damon saying something about it in chat there.
So it's just Zwift being Zwift. So that's why I was just.
Well,
I joined Zwift today already kind of annoyed with him. Like I'm coming close to where I have to re-up with him because I'm currently under a promo.
You're in consideration then.
Yeah. And it's just frustrating to me because this was just, I can't jump on there for community fun racing anymore, but I really, really, really like racing with my dirt team and doing ladder races and doing team time trials. And I'm doing the Dirty Race series on Wednesdays. Like those are really, really fun things that are using Zwift as a platform, but they're not Zwift organized, right? Like,
right.
And that's the hard part is, right, they're using Zwift as a platform to do all these things that are really fun to do, but just jumping on to random Zwift races, it's been a while since I've had a good experience. It's tough. So that's my rant. That's my rant.
Hey, that's a good rant. Hey, we're getting close to the end here. So
and well, before we end, we're saving the best for last. One of the biggest things that kind of been a lot of layers to this is the British Cycling Championships. There was a community event, and Dean was in chat at the beginning. Don't know if he's still here, and a few others.
Great Britain or the United Kingdom? Do we want to get into that world?
We know how terrible
in the Commonwealth
I am
can
with
chime in.
Ollie's in chat. Ollie, educate us.
Yeah. So all I know is it's somewhere on the, I guess, the other side of the ocean for me. I really don't know.
Oh, there you go. Okay, now Lee's got it.
United Kingdom of Great Britain is what
United Kingdom
is what Dean is saying. So there was some, because Holly was kind of who was originally sharing the information. There was a My Whoosh event that was seemingly billed as an official event, and that fell through. Dean Cunningham was organizing a community event on Zwift, and that is ultimately where it has finally landed. Off the top of my head, I'll be wrong with the date, but I think it's like the 28th of this month of March.
Okay.
And
that's next Friday or Saturday, probably, depending on your time zone.
Yeah, and I know there's some more information coming out. Damon, ZMS Sports, was telling me before the show. Yes, the 28th.
Z, buddy.
Z, sorry.
Z.
So, and this is the key thing. Damon talked about it, and then Holly and I had talked about it before, is with the history toward, and at least when I've been paying attention to cycling, the United Kingdom and Britain have always
I love your hesitation. It's so good. You're hesitating so much.
No.
You want to show them this sweatshirt? Show them the sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, we'll show them in a second.
Okay,
and then they've had a rich history in the cycling world. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tom Pidcock just finished second in Strade.
You're batting 1,000 tonight.
I'm
I
terrible.
love it.
Hey, I'm really tired, but hey, so like Chris Froome and all these people, and then
Keep
here we're
going.
just leaving these guys off, the indoor nothing. So it is excellent that they are communities come together, say, hey, we want to do this, show their support. So I really hope that anyone signs up and races for this.
So it's the official or the unofficial official British or UK Team GB, not affiliated with Team GB.
Well, and at one
The
point
unofficial official.
there was two unofficials.
Yes, and the My
You could
Whoosh
go back
one
to back in 1 year.
disappeared. So I don't know what.
So
the
do you
was.
think that's a result of the tarnish they had though way back when? I had forgotten about all that until somebody posted that.
Yeah,
in Discord,
somebody posted
right?
that. So there used to be
The Cam Jeffers thing.
the Cameron Jeffers.
Cam Jeffers was like the very first sort of Zwift indoor
Champion,
controversy.
Yeah.
He was the very first where he won, but he was using like other people and friends and bots to get the Tron bike.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that
he
was
won
when the Tron bike was the bike choice.
fastest bike in
If
the
he
game.
only knew our future science that Brian was so kind to do for us, that the bike are a scam. Bike choice is a scam. He wouldn't have cared which bike he
wouldn't
had.
have mattered.
Now, in 2019, maybe the Tron bike was better than everything and was way faster.
The
But
official word here from people who know in chat. Not affiliated with British Cycling.
How official
Running
is
our own governing
chat?
body for cycling esports. Cycling
guy
Esports
running
UK, and it is the championship race held under the new governing body. So they're creating a governing body called Cycling Esports UK.
Okay.
And one of the guys behind that's in chat right now.
All right.
Yeah. So
Cycling
thank you for that.
Esports. Thank you very much for that. Cycling Esports UK, which is their own governing body, which is cool. I like innovation. And you got your $8 shipping and handling.
Did anybody get any presents?
For the audio only audience. Casey's got his free with plays.
I'm
I still
neglected.
$8.
Or sorry, $8 shipping and
I'm
handling.
not 85, and I'm in Canada, so I don't get any.
I don't know what the guidelines were because Brian White, you didn't get the offer.
I didn't get it.
I didn't
Did
get the
you?
offer.
BK,
No.
I don't know. You may not be enough level, though.
He's level 90 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I was level. I'm level 90. I'm on the blacklist. Come on, we know that I don't get the
I
communication.
don't know how I'm not on the blacklist.
I give every time the Future Works thing pops up, it says steering sucks. It's the other buttons are great because steering really doesn't do much for me. So that's probably why I didn't get them.
Well, and I'm just glad I got a new USB cable because I had stepped on the one that I had, so only one of them was working. So I was having to charge like one play at a time, or I need to go get another USB-C cord. I'm just glad I got a new USB cord.
Go ahead.
Oh no! I was going to say the bike choice of the scam thing. I did a solo big spin event. Took 47 minutes. I did locked in at erg mode 240 watts. I started with the pen with the people 42 minutes. 5-minute difference that draft made over the same exact course in London. That's so overpowered.
Did you have the same frame or a different frame?
Same exact setup, even the same throw.
Here it is, folks. News of the world. The draft is much better than bike choice.
Yeah.
You just don't get dropped and your bike won't matter.
Exactly.
That's right. So,
all right, we're wrapping up here, but so one final thing, because I saw right before we came on, I think Holly was posting it or whatever, or Kathy maybe. The Training Peaks. Changing of the trial period is August 2nd.
Actually, that was Dominique and Brian should introduce
Brian,
this segment.
You want? Yeah, go ahead. Get full name. Dominique, and then you can say her last name.
There's no way. I can't. I don't even.
Wait, like we got this town, Du Bois, Pennsylvania. So it's Charlevoix, right? Charlevoix.
I'll go with it. Let's go with that. I will go with that. Charlevoix, right? Isn't that what it is? Charlevoix.
Charlevoix.
Charlevoix. So the Training Peaks is gonna, because they actually did a little update, and I haven't been on it in a while, but I remember seeing that they've added a bunch of Because it reminded me when you talked about the environments missing from Zwift.
They added more bush.
They've added more vegetation.
But the bushes look the same.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's what I noticed. I went in right after, and yes, there is more foliage along the road, but it looks exactly the same. So that's not really what I was going for. Right. I wanted different looking bush to like see while I rode my bike.
Nice. Is that Australian? Is that the outback you're calling it? The bush? Yes. Oh my goodness. I think it's time to go. All right. Anything? One last thing. We can go to 5 after. So
Brian and I are teenagers here.
Yeah, totally.
So going with my, we call him James Ogilvy or whatever.
Oh yes. This is good to end on in this.
Look right here. Ogilvy. That is our local park
That's
area.
Ogle Bay.
That's Ogle Bay.
It's Ogilvy.
What?
I'm sorry. What?
No.
Ogilvy. Oh, that's like Louisville.
Look, see?
Louisville.
Ogilvy.
Yeah.
Bay.
That's
Ogleby.
No.
It's B. They just call it B. They don't know. They don't know. They're not. It's probably like
that's
Peoria. Peoria. It's like Peoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That started my mispronunciation of the entire world. Last names.
Ogilby. Was it James Ogilby? Wait, what? Who's the person?
I said Ogilvy.
I said Olivier. Did I say No, Ogilvy. I said just call him Ogilvy, and you're like, no, Ogilby. Ogilvy. So whatever. All right, let's finish the show. I mean, that's enough. All right, is that it? Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, what's the last thing? We can finish this in 30 seconds. Any future things we should be looking out for, like events or something like that? I might do a Sunday Race Club if it's in the middle of the day. I might do one.
You got 3 weeks to get approved and right.
No,
you already have it. Yeah,
from Nationals.
Sign up. It's I
should be good.
So 10 a.m. something like that for you.
Yeah, I think it's 10 because I finished the Rouvy ride and then Brian was on and I was talking to Lee and I'm like, hey, he's on.
Yeah. That's why I was confused on why Brian was on so late in the day doing SRC, and then I was confused at why he didn't triple dip doing the Rouvy big race, SRC, and then Rando Zwift baloney race.
Yeah, my AMP Plus.
Why he didn't win the group ride in Zwift.
Yeah.
This is something. Last thing, we'll end it on this. Remember, whenever I got annulled in Indy Velo, then it was called Indy Velo for the whatever the hell repeating value crap. So that record was broken. The guy that day that I got DQ'd broke the record or set the record. It was 42 kilometers. And one of my teammates.
It was the indoor hour. It was the virtual hour record. You're just leaving everybody
indoor virtual hour record.
What are you talking about? Go ahead.
Well, it was recently broken by Chris Morgan, who is a former Olympian that I ride with in Cat 4 on SRC. So kudos to Chris for setting its 43. What did I hear? It's 43 kilometers and 183 meters. So he was a former Olympian for Australia as a rower. He is a beast of a engine, and kudos to him. And it's I think it's first Friday of every month on Trading Peaks Virtual. They do the hour record.
Okay.
And it's the online events company is what it's under.
Sounds good. Alrighty, that's it. You go ahead, Lee. You got.
No, I was just going to say the 1 hour record that Brian White should have had.
Yes, that's right. I should have had it.
Should have had it, but you had some fluctuating heart rate or whatever it is.
No.
It's probably Ogle Bay. Ogle Bay would have got it, but Ogle B.
It's just his style. That's how he rides.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He sprints in 3-second bursts. That's just how he rides.
That's it.
Final. We're gonna play the music, but a shout out to all the Finnish people, especially Felty. I love Felty, but you had a bunch of Finnish people riding in my whoosh in the Sunday Race Club. That was a ton of people. I know we're trying to get out of here. You gonna save it for next week? No,
I got this. That
was a shout out. What do you got going on?
Okay, hey,
all right, finish it.
We'll talk about it next week. So we'll be on it. I'll be prepared for next week. We'll even have graphics.
But I think there's people are starting to show up to the Sunday Race Club. Maybe it's a time zone thing, but whatever. I was kind of cool seeing all those Finnish flags. So
yeah, North America needs to flood it. Let's flood it this month.
All right, let's
get out there.
Let's see if I can enter. Maybe I'm Cat 7, even though that doesn't exist. On that note, we're gonna wave.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us. Bye. Take care.